Hey everybody, this is Brian Andres from Drum Magazine and you are watching the Afro-Caribbean Practice Pad Lesson. Alright, so today's lesson is centered around the Guiro and how we can apply it to the drum set. First, if you don't know what a Guiro is, it's this instrument right here. So basically it's a dried out hollowed gourd and then it has lines carved into it to give it a rough edge, and then we play with the stick. So we're going to talk more along the lines of a cha-cha-cha rhythm or a Latin rock rhythm, and how the Guiro part transcribes to the drum set on the hi-hat in a couple of other ways. So first I'll play the pattern that we're going to use on the drum set. It's a pattern that starts down, down, up, down. All right. So we're counting that 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. That's example 1. Again, it's going to sound just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So the gourd, the Guiro, also comes in a much more sturdy plastic, but generally the gourds, in my opinion, sound a little more high quality. So, but you should pick one of these instruments up. Hopefully this lesson will inspire you to pick up a Guiro and learn how to play it itself. All right, but now we're going to take that rhythm and we're going to apply it to the hi-hat. All right, so taking example 1 and applying it to the hi-hat, if you remember we had that long, short, short, long, short, short. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to open the hi-hat on the 1 and the 3 and close it for the 2 and 4 and. All right, so example 2, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. For example 3, we're going to go ahead and take our hi-hat pattern that's replicating the Guiro, and we're going to go ahead and add a snare drum, rack tom, and bass drum part. We're going to mimic a basic conga part with the snare drum and the high drum, snare drum on the 2, high drum on the 4 and then our bass drum is going to be playing the and of 2 and the 4. So it's just a one measure pattern that we'll repeat over and over again. All right. So example 3, putting all that together, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in cha-cha-cha, in Latin rock, and other sort of grooves that are similar to this, a real common thing that you find is the cowbell, a small cowbell playing a quarter note pulse. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add that into the groove from example 3. Everything else is going to stay the same. We're going to play snare drum on the 2, rack tom on the 4 and, bass drum on the and of 2 and the 4. Only now we're going to add a quarter note pulse on the high bell, and of course keep the Guiro hi-hat pattern going. So this will be example 4. Put all that together, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, example 5 is a little advanced. We're going to go ahead and try to play the Guiro pattern without sticks, just using our foot on the hi-hat pedal. So to do that, you're going to have to splash the hi-hat on the 1 and the 3, and then quickly stomp it on the 2 and the 4 and. All right? It's an intermediate to advanced technique, but if you can get it down, it's really effective. And it's going to free up your hands to do other things along with that pattern. All right, so this is example 5, and this is just my left foot playing the hi-hat. It's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so for example 6, we're going to go ahead and take our left foot splash Guiro hi-hat pattern and add back the cowbell, the snare drum, and the tom-tom with my hands, and then we're going to keep the bass drum pattern the same, and of 2 in the 4. So we're still playing just a single measure pattern, but the hi-hat is now being played just by my left foot. My sticks are going to be doing the other patterns. All right, so example 6 all together sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. With example 7, we're going to apply that Guiro pattern now to a different part of the drum set. We were moving it on the hi-hat. We're going to now move it to the actual rim of the snare drum. This particular concept works really well for low volume playing situations, right? So for example, if a bass solo is happening or there's a piano solo or I just need to be really quiet, I would like to play this Guiro pattern on the edge of the rim of the snare drum. All right, so example 7, it's going to sound just like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. With exercise 8, we're going to just bring back our previous grooves. What I'm going to do though, since this is kind of a lower volume example, is I'm going to take that cowbell part, that quarter note pulse, and I'm going to move it to my left foot. I'm going to play a cross stick on the 2, and then of course the 4 and on the tom-tom, just a little bit quieter. I'm going to keep the bass drum on the and of 2 in the 4. So it's the same basic groove, it's just orchestrated a little differently. The Guiro part, again, on the rim of the snare drum. So example 8 sounds like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, thanks for joining us here at Drum Magazine. I'm Brian Andres, and you've been watching the Afro-Caribbean Practice Pad Lesson.